Now we hit the co-main event, man, and I'm really excited for this fight as well, AJ. Jeremy Stephens versus Drakkar Klose. Now, I want to say this before we do anything, AJ. It feels to me that people are too fickle, man. You know, fans are so fickle, right? You know, and they're saying, "Oh, Jeremy Stephens, he's 0-4 with one no contest in his last 5. Why is he a co-main event? Excuse me. Why do I need to watch him? Who is this dude? He's washed up." Yeah, fucking right, dude. Like, oh my God, Jeremy Stephens in his last fight against Calvin Kattar. He looked so sharp. He looked so impressive in the first round. And then the second round came about. Calvin Kattar started, hitting him on the button, started really sitting down on his shots, and it was a quick night. It was a quick night for Calvin Kattar. But I can't sit here and say that Calvin Kattar just dominated the fight because it's absolutely not true. In that first round, he was getting pieced up. And I'm going to tell you what, man, I see this fight being very similar to Jimmy Rivera versus Pedro Munoz #2 that we just saw a couple weeks ago. And the reason why is because Jeremy Stephens is known as being a wrestler, right? Listen, dude averages less than 1.5 takedowns per fight. Drakkar Klose, he's actually a collegiate wrestler. I think Jeremy Stephens probably was too, but Drakkar Klose, he's a former collegiate wrestler at North Idaho. This dude is a BJJ purple belt. He's finished 40% of his wins. He's a young gun coming in at 33 years old. Not really young, but Jeremy Stephens only 34. But they're both like in the prime, right, of their careers. And Jeremy Stephens, man, I just want to talk about last five fights respectively before we jump into this. So, AJ, it looks to me that Jeremy Stephens, I'm going to go through his last 5. Calvin Kattar, knockout round 2 loss. Yair Rodriguez, unanimous decision loss. Yair Rodriguez, #1, that was a no contest because he got poked in the eyes. So, you know what I mean? That fight got called off. Zabit Magomed Sharipov, unanimous decision loss. And then Jose Aldo, TKO loss round 1. Now, AJ, let's talk about Drakkar Klose, right? We all remember the infamous, the viral Joe Rogan, John Anik, DC, oh my God, right? We remember that. And that people don't remember, but Drakkar Klose had Beneil Dariush out on his feet. Dariush came back, knockout of the century, knockout of the year, caused that viral reaction. So that was his last fight out. Knockout round 2 loss. Then he fought Christos Giagos. That was a unanimous decision win, which is very impressive. Giagos is a really big time wrestler, very highly touted prospect. I think he was on a nice win streak, maybe like a 2-fight win streak before that fight. So he got that one. He got a big dub on Bobby Green, right? Huge win. We all know and love Bobby Green. Got a big win against Lando Venata, right? And then, lastly, he loses to David Tamor, who we just talked about, couple for somebody else, a couple matchups ago, right? Now, let me just ask you objectively. I know we're all big fans of these people and whatnot, man. Which last 5 sounds way scarier than the others?
Oh, 100% has to be Little Heathen, man. Little Heathen, Jeremy Stephens. That's a whole list of killers. Whereas, you got 3 killers that are name recognition in Drakkar Klose. More so 2, because maybe not too many people know Lando Venata, even though they should.
Yeah.
But you go through Jeremy Heathens, man. That's a full list of killers, that are full list of champions that can easily, take off people's heads. So
exactly. So not only does he have a killer's row in his last 5, this dude's been a UFC vet since 2007. You know what I mean? Like, this dude's last win was in 2008, a knockout round 2 versus Josh Emmett. So he's hungry. If you keep coming back to the well after losing basically 5 times in a row, the no contest doesn't count, but five times where you're not getting your hand raised in victory, you're a game dude, man. Like, you keep coming back. You're saying, I'm going to get the win. And I think it's going to be a tough outing for Drakkar Klose. Now, I do think this has fight of the night written all over it. And the reason why is because, like I said, whoever can establish, or maybe I didn't say this, but I thought it, whoever can establish the calf kick first. These are both calf kickers, but whoever can establish the calf kick first, very similar to Jimmy Rivera versus Pedro Munoz #2, right? I think will have a much better chance of winning this fight. What's the X factor for you? That's the one for me. It's not the wrestling, it's not the striking, it's not the hooks versus the straight, it's the calf kick. So give me your X factor in this one, AJ.
You took the X factor for Jeremy Stephens right off of my notes, Derek. That low kick is very underrated, very fast and very snappy. I think if either fighter can make that one work, it's going to be the leading advantage. But for me personally, I think that goes more for Jeremy Stephens. A lot of people are expecting, big hands, big things, and I'm expecting a lot of people to forget that Jeremy Stephens has those extra appendages, kind of like how we saw Michael Chandler versus Dan Hooker, where he forgot about, or he's thinking so much about the right hand, they forgot about the left. I'm expecting the same thing, where most people think like Jeremy Stephens is going to put full pressure and just start winging shots toward the head. Man, people forget about that. He has some amazing kicks. So for me, if Stephens can utilize that aspect, he'll go real far. But for Drakkar Klose, man, I think he needs to stay calm. for the big X factor for him. And when he stay calm and precise and breathes and stays in the moment, man, he's dangerous. He has great takedown defense, heavy hands, can hit you hard. And, credit to him, the only reason that Beneil Dariush had that crazy KO and everyone had that knockout is because he had Beneil hurt. He had Beneil dead to rights. If he would have just stayed calm and picked his shots instead of get crazy and let that animal come out in Benny, and like we all saw, I think he could have won that fight, man. He was putting it on him, not for nothing. Drakkar Klose is doing really good until he lost that mental edge. Once he lost that mental edge and saw blood and started going for the kill, that's when Benny was able to take apart him and pick him apart and see those holes to hit. So if Drakkar Klose can actually stay calm, stay composed, I think he'll do very well.
Yeah, man. I mean, that's a good take right there, in all honesty. I think Drakkar Klose, this is like a pick 'em fight to me. Like I said, this is a war. This is fight of the night written all over it. But I do just want to point this out because Drakkar Klose, what he has in power, what he has in just being a great athlete, a great, fighter, or maybe not a great fighter, but a really, really good fighter, maybe not hit that greatness level yet. He lacks an experience, man. And, the age-old proverb, it's hard betting against experience. And Lil Heathen got a lot of experience, man. He's 28-18 in his MMA career, 15-17 in his UFC career. And is it odd that Drakkar Klose, in his entirety, he has 14 MMA fights, 7 decision wins, right? Jeremy Stephens, he has, let me see if I could do quick math, about 46 MMA fights, right? 7 decision wins. That just tells you that Jeremy Stephens comes to close the show. You know what I mean? He's not leaving it to the judges. He wants to knock you out. So with that being said, man, I'm just going to give you my pick for this one because this is so close, so contested. And like I said, man, just that calf kick is really what's going to do it for me. Lil Heathen, he likes the big wing-in hook shots. Drakkar Klose is a little more technical with the striking, a little slower, but a little more technical, I believe, personally. And I think that this is going to be a war. And even though I just talked about the finishing capabilities of Jeremy Stephens, of Lil Heathen, I got Stephens via unanimous decision win in a fight of the night match. So that's spoiler alert for a little bit later. Give me your pick.
Yeah, man. I'm right there with you. And I genuinely think this one's a pick 'em. This one's a coin cost, and the fight could end in either direction very early or be a knockout, drag out. This could be crazy. Personally, man, I was just going with, I was changing my picks back and forth before we were getting on. The statement that did it for me, man, he's here to get paid and laid. We're going 50K to Jeremy Stephens. KO round 2.
Oh, okay. KO. Yes, I think it could happen. But I'm going to hedge my bet on that one.